Class, this is Chris Lozano. So imitation is the highest form of flattery, and I decided since Renee did her video last week in front of or on her way to the concert that I would do a fun one. So I've chosen to do my video in front of the globe where I work. Full disclosure, when I first saw this video, I was initially thrown off by the researcher because I couldn't quite get past his comment about women liking cup holders in cars. But eventually he sort of won me back with his techniques. So let's go through this. Question 1 says, explain how qualitative research was used. And I really saw that he used 3 different categories, or actually all 3 categories of exploratory qualitative research. The first one being interviews and focus groups. Obviously, we saw that. Projective techniques, we saw that with the word association interview that he did with the in-depth interview about the white bread. That question made me laugh because I was like, who feels lonely eating white bread? Maybe you do. And then observational techniques. So we saw that with the luxury focus group, and I'll go into that a little bit more in depth. So with the interview techniques, in the opening clip of the discussion about the white bread, it was an in-depth interview, and he did use projective techniques with the word association. The observational techniques, I think we saw that more than anything, and that was in the focus group where, he brought them through the 3 different levels, starting off with the primal core, working towards the primal core, starting off with the luxury, just questions, asking them if what they thought about luxury, and then working through that. The secondary data, I didn't think that was very, front and center, but what I can imagine as secondary data being used would be things like sales records, maybe the stores where these people that were in the focus group actually shopped. And what I was thinking is that could be kind of a mixed method research program. It would be pretty extensive because you'd have to get some data from the stores, but I think it would be kind of interesting to see how the questions that they got out of the focus groups actually related to maybe sales records for the places where these people shopped. So maybe sales records of the stores, published data, the buying habits of people who do or don't purchase luxury items, and also standardized marketing data of any appropriate brands, whether it's the Hummers or things that were brought up in the focus groups. Question 3 said, discuss the observation methods used. And, Dr. Rapai used 3 different sessions, and in those we saw physical actions where he actually removed the chairs and sort of observed how people position themselves, spatial relationships where, maybe they were looking at where they were in relation to the floor, to one another, etc. And possibly response latency. They talked about that in the book, and also, maybe how long it took them to answer, because it said in the book that if there's a sort of a lag in the answer, that there might be something emotionally tied to that. And then scientifically contrived observation. Obviously, he did create an artificial environment, waking them up from their sleep and sort of creating that little sleepy, groggy stage where they were able to tap into that primal core. And since the participants were actually writing their responses, I imagine that the researcher was probably going to be using content analysis. So those are my answers. I hope you enjoyed my post. I look forward to your responses. Thanks, bye.